National Guard is enforcing good behavior when local ice supplies run short.
For crowd control, just to make sure that everybody stays calm, everybody does what they're supposed to be doing.
I was in this area right in here.
A visit to the Goldens family home can help put the ice shortages in perspective.
Terrifying noise, terrible.
This was Claude and Beverly Golden's second month here in their first home. A tree that Hugo delivered to their kitchen has now brought insurance adjusters to their door.
I'm all right during the day, but when I lay down at night, I keep hearing that tree coming through the house. It's a terrible feeling.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Insurance agents are able to put cash in your hands much faster than they can get a new roof on your home. They're working with contractors who have waiting lists, too.
We'll do what we can to make it as quick as possible, but if someone needs a new roof, it's going to take maybe a few months.
No one panicked. I was more concerned about getting out of the weather, I think. Once we knew we couldn't make it to the hospital and got back here, I felt like everything would be okay.
Everything did work out okay. Jane, her husband Dale, and their 2 other children brought Julie Catherine Dixon into the world, despite the fury of Hugo.
Having the baby, all that, the kids were great. Everybody was composed, and it came along fine.
It was a family affair. Fortunately, the Dixons have a gas stove, so they boiled water, got out flashlights, and headed to a makeshift delivery room.
I had no idea what was going to happen, really. But I thought it was kind of neat. I had to boil the water and hold flashlights and stuff.
Was it easy?
Yeah, but it was exciting.
Everyone else is frantic trying to get debris out of the yard, and we're just happy we had a healthy daughter, and it was a pleasant ordeal for us.
And just in case you're wondering, did the Dixons ever consider naming their daughter Hugo?
We heard that, and Hugina and a few things, but anyway, that was a name we had chosen earlier, so we just decided to stick with it.
Charleston's second night after Hugo. Home for some may be on a boat, but in the heart of old Charleston, some are returning to home still without electricity and drinkable water. This is the extended family of Charles Gear and some friends.
I think we'll just go to bed earlier and get up with the sun and scrape the mud off.
Is it like camping out for you?
Camping out would be better than staying around here and getting all muddy.
What's it like inside of one of these fine old homes? Mother-in-law Frances Boyd gave us a tour.
You see, the water came up over all this, and all this floated off. The child had gotten the portraits off the wall and taken them upstairs, and
that was good.
It was good.
Dinner this night is up the street with some neighbors. The last frozen steaks on a grill.
This is it.
What do you do tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, I guess we'll eat canned asparagus or something like that.
And the night after that?
Well, we'll have some tuna fish and some deviled ham.
Still, a dusk-to-dawn curfew makes it seem like a military occupation. And while the task ahead is daunting, the charm of Charleston somehow makes it seem a little more endurable.
Last week, WBTV News was on your side. A case before the Supreme Court could change the way North Carolina juries decide who gets the death penalty. Visitors from Kentucky gave high marks to Charlotte's homeless shelter. Charlotte taxpayers became part owners of the uptown retail center City Fair. Locations for Halloween celebrations as the city encourages children not to go trick-or-treating. And tips on protecting your PC from a computer virus. Join us nightly for WBTV News.
Last week on Top of the Day, we heard the amazing account of 2 men's struggle for survival in the Alaskan wilderness. We covered the controversy concerning the City Fair takeover. And for Better or for Worse creator, Lynn Johnston illustrated her success as an award-winning cartoonist. Monday, he's the man who turned ebony into gold. Meet founder and publisher John Johnson and find out about his latest venture. Plus, we'll have the latest Crime Stoppers case reports. All this and more, Monday at 11:30.
We went into the bathroom. There was blood all over the bathroom.
They're the most shocking, violent, and despicable crimes you can imagine.
He cut her up with a chainsaw, and then he put her in little packages, and he put the packages through the wood chipper and into the river.
The vet called the police back and said, "This isn't dog meat, this is human."
He told one of the neighbors that
He couldn't kill a rabbit, but he could kill him.
Beyond murder, beyond madness, monstrous crimes. Next, Geraldo.
Join us for Geraldo, Monday afternoon at 4 on WBTV.
Every school day in North Carolina, nearly 3 busloads of students, that's more than 135 kids, never make it to school. They drop out because they don't believe a diploma matters to their future, and they're too young to know how rough things can get down the road. With around 25,000 dropouts a year, it's clear we can't go on this way. Please, call your Board of Education and volunteer to help keep a kid in school. Together, we can turn this problem around.
Sarah, you were at the coast when Hugo hit. What sticks in your mind about that?
Bob, we've talked so much about the power of this storm, but what really stays with me is remembering the feeling of calm before the storm hit. I've never understood how people could have hurricane parties, why they would stay at the beach in the path of a hurricane when sensible people had long since evacuated. But after experiencing those calm hours before the storm, I can see how people are lulled into thinking that they're invulnerable. What that night taught me was how fragile, even how puny we humans are in the face of nature at its most violent. Nature has a way of humbling us, reminding us that no matter how strong we think we are, no matter how well we think we know this world, that there are forces which are beyond our control.
And where were you on the morning of Friday, September the 22nd, 1989? That's a question that we will be asking and answering for years to come, because this has become a benchmark in our history, a point against which all time, past and future, is measured. No one, young or old, was unaffected. No one totally escaped this. And when that happens, it becomes part of our personal history, even our mythology. But the story's not entirely written, of course. The pictures that we have shown you tonight are only the beginning. It will be years before we can entirely fathom how Hugo changed our lives and our communities. We will never again think quite the same about our trees, about electricity, about the weather. But perhaps the biggest single impact is on how we regard each other, because nothing quite makes a neighbor out of a stranger as quickly as a tragedy does. The pictures you have seen tonight, of course, are staggering. They are etched forever on our memory. But look at it this way. This is before and not after. Good night for WBTV News.
Good night.
This WBTV News special has been brought to you by your local